Some researchers had the tiny human brains you can grow from stem cells train each other by giving them either reward or punishment until they behave normally. This is indeed really weird. Yes, you can grow tiny human brains from stem cells. Yes, you can have them run computation. And yes, they can interact with each other. You can even put them together like Legos and they'll act as one unit. It's just more brain per brain. Because they tend to work better when they're in groups, they are also tasked with training each other. They have relatively short lives, although some people have been able to keep them alive for a year or more. Most of them live 60 to 90 days, so if you have 16 to a chip like some companies are doing, you're going to need to have the old ones come in and train the new ones. That's what they did. They set them up in groups of 3. There was a doctor agent that would monitor a healthy agent, and that would tell it what normalcy looks like. Then they would look at a patient agent. This might be one that's displaying some unusual behaviors, or it could be a brand new one in the system. It would deliver rewards if it were behaving appropriately, and it would deliver something like disordered electric shocks if it wasn't. Yes, it could in fact train the new agent pretty effectively. And if you're wondering how they're communicating with the computer, well, they're on a multi-electrode array. This is something that can record neural spiking patterns and then deliver feedback so that the brain organoid knows what's going on around it. It's kind of a form of sensation. It's actually not that different from what you have going on with your own body. You have sensation, you have light hitting your eyes, that's being translated into electrical signals that your brain can receive, and your brain will sort it out so it's meaningful. Similarly, the electrical signals are sorted by a computer, so it can be given to the brain organoids so they can decipher it. They did something similar with a card game, where organoids would be players, and then they would have a judge. The judge would look at what the players got and decide whether to give them a reward or a punishment. They respond to both, so they do naturally progress towards trying to win the game. Rewards for brain organoids can include things like dopamine or just ordered signals, or in some of the papers that I've read with embodying them in game world, they will give them continuous, unpleasant electric shocks until they do something right, and then they get peace from the hellscape. But from what I've read, they tend to do better with both reward and punishment rather than one or the other. One of the interesting findings that's been seen in several different labs is that complex brain organoids do better. You would think that just one type of cell would be appropriate. Maybe we had one kind of cell in our brain that's responsible for cognition, but no. They need ones that are involved in both short-term and long-term memory. And brain organoids tend to do better when they have some kind of feedback. It's a literal brain in a vat. So having some stimulation is going to allow the little organoids to do something. They have a job, they can grow around that job, and they can get better at it. They're not conscious. They may be sentient, and that is an argument, but they're just floods of brain, and I think they're really cool and kind of spooky, but I don't think what we're seeing yet is real cognition. The simulations are quite complex. It's a biohybrid computer. It's working between AI and the actual tissue. I think the message behind it is that when we have brain organoids that are coming in to do a job, new ones can be trained by the older ones. I don't think this has a whole lot of applications of human medicine, but I don't know. We can find out.